Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you all for your love and support of the channel. I really do appreciate it. And now is a great time, if you haven't already, click that subscribe button to go ahead and do so that you're always informed when I upload a new video. So in today's pick a card reading, we're going to be looking at what was your role or purpose in your family growing up. And to do this reading, I've laid out 3 piles of cards here. Pile number 1, you're going to be this green Merkaba star crystal here. Pile 2, you're going to be this green Aventurine crystal here. And pile number 3, you're going to be this red coral crystal here. So take a minute and focus on the piles and decide which one you're most drawn to. You can then scroll down to the description box below where I have timestamps listed for each pile. You can then click on your timestamp and you'll be directly forwarded to your reading. So let's get into the reading. Pile number 1, so you guys chose the green Merkaba crystal here. And you received number 33 with Embrace Solitude. Interesting. And we have this woman and she's sort of sitting on this beach here by herself, sort of enjoying her own company. So I'm feeling from this card here, pile 1, that part of your role or purpose in your family growing up was to let others know that it's okay to be by yourself sometimes. It's okay to take that time to yourself and to embrace your solitude. And I also get the feeling from this card that part of your purpose was expressing your independence, your independence as a soul, separate from your family, separate from your friends, but just being your own person here and sort of enjoying your own energy and spending time with yourself, doing things for yourself. And that's part of your purpose here, was to show others that it's okay to spend time alone. It's okay to embrace your solitude. And it's okay to be independent from that family unit at times. So very interesting energy here. So let's get another card for you guys. Spirit, what was pile 1's role or purpose in their family growing up, please? What was their role or purpose in their family growing up? Thank you, Spirit. So you have number 22 here with Gang Sarah, and it says resistance. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, pile 2, because I feel like, with the embrace solitude here, you were sort of being resistant to the norm, to what your family expected of you, to what your family thought you were going to do. You were resisting that energy, and you were letting them know that it's okay to spend time by yourself. It's okay to not conform to your family's expectations or society's expectations. It's okay to be your own person and to spend time with yourself. So you sort of had this resistance energy about you. And, part of your role or purpose was being resistant within that family unit and showing your own independence of them, showing that you can be your own person and do your own thing. And you don't have to conform to your family's expectations or society's expectations of you. So really, really interesting, pile 1. So I want to get another card here for you. Spirit, what was pile one's role or purpose in their family growing up, please? What was their role or purpose? Thank you. Okay, so you have the south node of the moon here with old karma. Interesting. So I do feel like there was a lot of karma here. A lot of karmic bonds within this family. And I do feel like you were born into this family for a purpose, to balance some kind of karma or to fulfill to learn some sort of lesson here, or maybe even teach your family certain things or certain lessons here. But I feel like there's a very strong karmic bond here between you and your family members. And, you know, with the south node being here, I feel like maybe part of your purpose was to show others within your family how to be true to themselves, you know, because the south node can sometimes be about when we're not following our true purpose, or we're not living out the life that we came here to live. So I feel like for some of you, part of your purpose was to show your family members how to do what they came here to do, to follow their path, and to be true to themselves. You know, we sort of spoke about it here before with this resistance and solitude energy. You were just your own person, you know, here following your purpose and your path. And I feel like maybe some of your family members were not doing that here. Maybe they were in jobs that they didn't like or they weren't happy with. Maybe they were in relationships that they, you know, weren't happy in, or, you know, something like that, where they weren't really being true to themselves and sort of living out their true purpose here. So interesting energy. Okay, so I'm going to get another card here. Spirit, what was pile one's role or purpose in their family growing up, please? What was their role or purpose? Thank you. Okay, you have number 64 with the wasp spirit. And it says, sometimes life stings. Yeah, I feel like part of your purpose, pile one, was to be this rule breaker. And, you know, I mean that in the best possible way. You know, not to follow the norms, not to live the way others wanted you to live, but to be your own person in pile one. And, you know, sometimes that stings. You know, sometimes that hurt your family members because they were expecting one thing of you, or you to be a certain way, and you just weren't, you know, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine. But sometimes it stung them because they weren't used to that, or they weren't expecting that. But I feel like that's part of your purpose here, is to show them that that's okay. You know, it's not about fitting in. It's not about doing what is expected of you. It's about doing what you want to do, being who you want to be. And that's really beautiful, pile one. So interesting energy here. So I want to get one last oracle here before we get into the tarot. So Spirit, what was pile one's? Okay. So you have number 13 here with the spark that dreamt of fire. And we have this dragon here. And it looks like there's a woman here in the dragon's mouth. Wow. Powerful energy here, pile one. So I feel like another part of your purpose here in your family growing up was to be this spark of fire here, was to be this passionate person who believed in what they wanted and went after it, you know, who was their own person and who was very strong and powerful. Because with the dragon being here, I feel like you are this powerful person who's capable of transmuting energies here and changing viewpoints, you know, and transforming not only your life but other people's lives here. You know, because the power of fire is very transformative. And I feel like you were just this firecracker here growing up, and you were this spark within your family. You were very passionate. You were very true to yourself. You were very, you know, full of light and love, I feel like. And, you know, I think, like I said before, I think sometimes you surprised your family because they were expecting one thing of you and then they got another, you know, because you were just so independent and true to yourself and genuine that it sort of surprised them at times. So really, really beautiful pile one, excuse me. Okay, so let's get into your tarot because I want to clarify this energy here. So Spirit, what was pile one's role or purpose? Okay, you have the King of Wands here. Beautiful energy. Because the King of Wands is this spark of fire here. You know, he's someone that is very passionate and very committed to whatever he does. And he's a powerful manifester as well. You know, he takes action towards what he wants. And I feel like part of your role or purpose in this family was to be this leader here, this independent person who said, I don't care what society expects of me. I don't care what my family, you know, thinks or wants of me. I'm going to be my own person here. And I'm going to live my life the way that I want to live it. And that's really beautiful, independent energy here, pile one. So I love that for you guys. So Spirit, what was pile? Okay. So you have the Eight of Cups here. And the Eight of Cups can be about disappointment. It can be about walking away from something when we're not happy about it. So I feel like part of your purpose may have been to show your family that, like I said before, it's okay to be independent and it's okay to be on your own. For some of you, you may have even left your family at a young age. You know, you might have graduated high school and said, I'm out of here, you know, I'm leaving, I'm on my own. And you might have sort of walked away from that family unit because maybe you didn't feel accepted or you didn't feel respected or you just didn't like being within that family where you were confined to, you know, follow their beliefs and do what they expected of you. You know, you wanted to be your own person. You wanted to be on your own, independent of that. So I feel like for some of you, you know, you may have left at at a fairly young age here. But even if you didn't, I feel like you still had this independent attitude here. Like it's okay to be on my own. It's okay to be separate from them, even if I'm living with them, even if I'm, you know, out with them. I can still be my own person. I can still have my own thoughts, my own beliefs, my own values. So really beautiful, pile one. Sorry, I keep saying pile two. I meant pile one. Okay, so Spirit, what was pile one's purpose? Okay, you also have the moon here. Wow. Because the moon can be about something hidden. It can also be about the unconscious, dreams, secrets, things hidden. So with this energy, I'm getting a very strong spiritual, mystical energy here. So, some of you, part of your purpose was to, I feel like, show the importance of spirituality here within your family unit. Some of you may have had different spiritual beliefs than the rest of your family. And if that's the case, I feel like part of your role was to show them it's okay for me to think differently. It's okay for me to have a different religion or a different spiritual belief than you. For others, I get the message that if there was something secret or hidden here within your family unit, you may have been the one who maybe exposed that secret, or maybe you just didn't go along with that, hiding or keeping things secret. You were very open about what you believed or what you thought. But I do get a very spiritual energy here with this card. So I feel like, your purpose within this family unit was very spiritual, whether that was to show them that it's okay for you to be different, or, whether that's for you to just show the importance of connecting with the spirit world and being a spiritual person. So it's going to resonate differently here for everybody. So Spirit, what was pile one's role or purpose in their family growing up, please? Okay, you have the 10 of Cups here. Beautiful. So I feel like another part of your purpose here, pile one, was to spread love within your family, to be this light, this bright, sunny person who brought joy, who brought happiness within your family unit. We have these children playing here and just singing and dancing, and this couple looking at their beautiful home and what they've created here. So I feel like part of your purpose was to bring this love within your family. I feel like you're a very affectionate, loving person, pile one. And part of your role was to share that love, to give that love to your family members. And I think they really appreciated having you within the family to, receive that love that you were bringing to them. So beautiful. So I just want to look more at this moon energy here, because I want to see what that is about, to clarify that. Okay, so you have the 6 of Swords here. And the 6 of Swords can be when we move away from something that is no longer serving us, or something that is painful or hurtful. So I do get the energy here that some of you may have left your family, as soon as you were able to. And you were trying to move to calmer waters. So you may have had like a difficult childhood. You know, there may have been some trauma. Um, there may have been some pain or difficulties that you went through within that family. And so I'm getting the message here that you were showing them that it's okay for you to separate from them, you know, for you to live independently of them and to sort of move away from that either toxic situation or that trauma here. So interesting. I also want to clarify this Eight of Cups here. What is this about, Spirit? Okay, you have the Queen of Swords. Yeah, so the Queen of Swords is someone who's very decisive and very strong. She knows what is right and what is wrong, and she does what she believes in. So, you know, with the Eight of Cups, with the Queen of Swords clarifying the Eight of Cups, I feel like some of you were either unhappy or disappointed maybe within this family, and you put your foot down. You know, you said, this is not right, or this is not what I want, you know, or this is not what I believe. And you put your foot down, and you may have walked away, you know, you may have left. And that's okay, pile one. You know, that's perfectly fine, because, you know, we don't always believe and act the way our family wants us to, because we are our own people. You know, we are independent of who we're born into, you know, what we're born into. So it's okay for you to be that way and to do that. And you know, I think part of your purpose within your family was to show your power and show your strength and your ability to be independent of them and to believe what you want and do what you want, pile one. So beautiful energy here. So I just want to get one last message here for you guys from this little C Melodies deck here. So Spirit, can we get a final message or guidance for pile one, please? Can we get a final? Okay, so you have the Dream card here. And it says, follow your yearning for the deep blue sea. Beautiful. So yeah, I feel like part of your purpose was also to show your family how important it is to dream and to believe in your dreams, to follow your dreams, pile one, because I feel like you did that here. Whether you stayed, you know, with this family for a long time, or whether you left when you were able to, you know, I feel like you followed your dreams and you showed your family how important it was to follow your dreams. And, you know, with this follow your yearning here for the deep blue sea, I feel like some of you were yearning for something here, you know, a different place, a different town, a different, you know, group of people around you, a dream, a goal that you had, whatever it is you were yearning for. I feel like you did have some sort of yearning here. And I feel like you showed your family that it's okay to follow that yearning and to believe in yourself. So really beautiful, pile one. So that is all I have for you guys today, pile one. I hope you enjoyed the reading and I hope it was helpful. I thank you all so much for being here today, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hi, pile two. So you guys chose this green Aventurine here. And you received number 29 with stay open. Beautiful energy. So I'm getting the message from this card here that part of your purpose in your family growing up was to express your freedom here, pile 2, and to show your family that it's important to always stay open to whatever life brings you or gives you, whatever opportunities come your way, and to not be tunnel minded, but to have a really broad, open minded attitude, and that means being open to different cultures, different religions, different beliefs, different values, and not pigeonholing yourself into one belief system or one way of doing things. I feel like you are this open person here who is just extremely open-minded and accepting of different people, of different viewpoints, of different value systems, and that's beautiful, pile 2. And I feel like part of your purpose was showing your family that it's important to remain open and to be accepting of different things. That's sort of the best way I can describe it here. And I feel like you were this free person, this free spirit here. And you were also showing your family that it's okay to be this free spirit here. It's okay to maintain your own freedom and be your own person. So really beautiful, pile 2. So let's get another oracle here. Spirit, what was pile 2's role or purpose in their family growing up, please? What was their role or purpose, please, within their family for pile 2? What was their role or purpose? Okay, so you have number 7 here with the threshold. Interesting. So with threshold energy being here, I get the feeling that you were someone who, like I said before, was very open, but also someone who wasn't afraid to push the boundaries in life, to discover new things, to be different from your family, and to be open to what life brought you, and sort of this energy of being on the threshold here and, going out on a limb and not being afraid to try new things, to do new things. So you might have been the person in your family who was like, yeah, I want to go rock climbing, or I want to go jump out of a plane, for instance. And your family would look at you and be like, oh my God, I would never do that, or why do you want to do that? That's crazy. But you were this person who lived on the threshold here and was like, no, I want to do it. I'm going to do it. And so I think you were like this lightning bolt here, to your family. You were just being true to you, and you weren't afraid of trying new things and of doing new things. And you were open to the opportunities that life brought you. So beautiful, beautiful energy, pile 2. So let's get another card here. Spirit, what was pile 2's role or purpose, please? Okay, so you have number 13 here with cat spirit, and it says claim your independence. Wow, beautiful. We have this cat here with these wings on it. So yeah, part of your purpose, pile 2, within your family was showing them that it's okay to be independent. It's okay to be your own person and to have your own beliefs and to express who you are. You know, that it's like, I feel like within your family, you know, you were this different person. You know, you didn't conform to what they wanted or what they thought or, you know, anything. You just lived according to you. And that's beautiful, pile 2, that you are able to be this independent person here. And I still feel like, you know, we have this heart on this cat's chest here. I still feel like you had this big heart, you know, and you were very loving, you were very accepting of your family members, but you were also strong enough to be independent and to be your own person within that family unit and to express your freedom here. To do, you know, like I said before, you might have been the person who did those, you know, things that your family thought were crazy or risky or different, you know, and you were like, I don't care, you know, I'm doing it anyway, or I'm believing this anyway, you know, and that's really beautiful. Pile 3, excuse me, pile 2. So part of your purpose was to express your independence and to show your family that that was okay. Pile 2. So let's get another card here. Spirit, what was pile 2's role or purpose within their family growing up, please? Okay, so you have the 12th house here with spirituality and art. Just going to cover this here. So I'm seeing here with this card, pile 2, that part of your purpose within your family was to express your spirituality. So like I said before, some of you may have had different spiritual beliefs than your family, and part of your purpose was to show them that that's okay. It's okay to be your own person, to believe what you believe. And I also feel like, you know, some of you had very artistic gifts here or abilities, and part of your purpose was to express those gifts and to, you know, beautify your family in some way. So maybe you were, you know, the artist of the family or the creator, and, you know, you showed your family that art is something beautiful, you know, and something to be enjoyed and something to be expressed. And you showed them the importance of art and the beauty of art in some way. So, you know, you could have been a dancer, an actor, a writer, a painter, you know, whatever it is that you did. I feel like part of your purpose was expressing these creative gifts and really showing your family the beauty of art here. So very interesting, pile 2. So I want to get another card here. So Spirit, what was pile 2's role or purpose in their family growing up, please? What was their role or purpose? Okay, so you also have Mokumu, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, with soul forgiveness. Wow, powerful, pile 2. So with this energy being here, I feel like for some of you, you know, you may have had some difficulties within this family, some things that needed to be forgiven. Maybe your family members said certain things or did certain things that may have hurt you or caused some pain here along the way. And I feel like part of your purpose was to show the importance of forgiveness here. So maybe you came to the point of being able to forgive your family members and, you know, to show them that, you know, you have taken those, you know, lessons in, and you have processed the pain or the difficulty, and you're still able to forgive, so it's about soul forgiveness here. So these things, or these experiences that you had, may have hurt you on a soul level here, but you rose above that, pile 2, and you showed your family, that you have forgiven them, and that, how beautiful it is to come to that place of forgiveness here. So really interesting energy. So I want to get some tarot now to clarify this energy here. So Spirit, what was pile 2's role or purpose? Okay. You have the Knight of Swords energy here. And that doesn't surprise me, because the Knight of Swords is someone who's very independent, and someone who goes after what he wants, and is very strong, very powerful, and also sort of breaks, lives on the threshold here, breaks the rules, is not afraid to try new things and do new things. And that's, I feel like, what you were here within your family. You were this this fighter here, this renegade, this person who, followed their passions, and you were open to new things, and you did things when you wanted to, and you were just this independent spirit here. And I feel like that, really expresses who you were within this family unit, and what your role was here, was to be this independent force of nature here, and to show your family that it's okay to fight for what you believe in, and to be the person you want to be, and to be independent, and to be strong, and to be powerful. So beautiful, pile 2. So let's get another card here. Spirit, what was pile 2's role? Okay, you also have the Ace of Swords here. Wow. So I feel like also what part of your role or purpose here was to bring some sort of clarity or truth here to your family, however that resonates. But I feel like you were sort of this eye-opener here for your family. You brought some kind of clarity or truth. This may have been, showing them your independence here, and showing them, that it's okay for you to have different thoughts, different beliefs. Or this could have been even like, you having some sort of knowledge or advice that you gave to your family members that allowed them to see things clearer. So maybe you had some sort of knowledge that they didn't have, that you gave to them, that created clarity or helped them in some way. But you were sort of this this person who is able to see through things, and bring this breakthrough energy to your family unit. So beautiful, pile 2. So Spirit, what was pile 2's role? Okay, you also have the Wheel of Fortune here. And the Wheel of Fortune can be about change, and it can be about cycles and destiny, fate. So I feel like you were, part of your purpose was to show your family the importance of change, the importance of growth, the importance of transformation, whether that's transforming their beliefs, their emotions, their feelings. You were someone who, was this person living on the threshold here, and you were open to change. You were open to transformation, to growth. And I feel like you were, part of your purpose was showing your family the importance of growing on this journey, and how each lesson that we have helps transform our soul in some way, and helps us grow on a spiritual level. So really beautiful. And, I feel like you also showed your family how important it is to follow your destiny and follow your dreams and really live out those dreams, whatever they may be. So beautiful energy. So Spirit, what was pile two's role or purpose, please? Okay, you also have the Ace of Pentacles. Beautiful. Because the Ace of Pentacles is an energy of manifestation and of following, of taking advantage of the opportunities that we're presented with. And that makes a lot of sense because, like I said before, you are someone who, if someone offered you an opportunity, even if it sounded crazy to others, you were like, yes, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take it, And that's what the Ace of Pentacles is about. It's about taking those opportunities when they're presented to us and really, making the most of them. And I feel like part of your purpose was showing your family that it's important to, take those opportunities and to do those things when they're offered to us. And, I also feel like you are a very successful person, and, you showed your family how it's important to go after your goals and go after your dreams and get this pentacle here, to achieve what you want in life and to follow your dreams. So really beautiful, pile two. So let's see. I want to get one final message or guidance here for you guys. So Spirit, can we get a final message or guidance for pile two? Okay, so you received the journey card here. And it says, half the treasure is the journey on the path to finding it. Yeah, beautiful. So I feel like part of your purpose was to show your family that, the end result is not always the prize here. Part of the prize is the journey, getting to where you want to get to. So you were a patient person. You were someone who believed in your path and what you were doing. And you weren't always impatient and looking for the final result. You understood the importance of the journey here. And part of your purpose was to show your family that it's not all about quick results and getting what we want right away. It's about taking the time and going through the steps and putting the work in and enjoying the journey along the way. So really beautiful, pile two. So I feel like that's all I have for you guys today, pile two. I hope you enjoyed the reading and I hope it was helpful. If it was, please let me know down below. Otherwise, I hope you have a great rest of your day and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye. Hi, pile threes. So you guys chose the red coral here. And you received number 31 with keep going. Beautiful energy. So I feel like part of your purpose or role in your family growing up, pile three, was to show your family how important it is to keep going, to persist, to stay strong, no matter what is going on, no matter what is happening around you. This card is about not stopping. It's about, continuing on your journey, even if everything around you is falling apart. This person is climbing this huge mountain here, full of snow. And, this mountain is not stopping them. The snow is not stopping them. They're going, they're continuing till they reach the top of that mountain. And I feel like that was your energy here. That was your purpose, to show your family that no matter what, it's important to keep fighting, to keep going, to keep moving. and to never stop, to never let life get the best of you. So beautiful, pile 3. So let's get another card here. So Spirit, what was pile 3's role or purpose in their family growing up, please? What was their role or purpose, please? Okay, so you have Nana Beluga here, number 1, with seasons. Interesting. So I feel like another part of your purpose here, pile 3, was to show your family that there are going to be ups and downs in life. You know, there are going to be different seasons that they go through, and that's okay. You know, that's part of life. We go through hard times and we go through good times. You know, we go through sad times and we go through happy times. And that's just part of the plan. That's just part of the game, you know, here in this world, in this, you know, 3D existence. Everything is not always going to be easy. Everything is not always going to be great. You know, the only way to enjoy and appreciate the good times is when we go through the hard times. And I think that part of your purpose was showing your family this, that there are different seasons that we go through, and there's beauty in both of those seasons, you know, in all of those seasons. Even in the hard times, there's light, because there's things that we're learning, there's ways that we're growing. And it's interesting because you have the darkness and the light here on this card. So there's that duality here, you know, between dark and light, between happy and sad. And part of your role was to show your family that, you know, even though we go through some hard times, we go through some sad times, there's still light at the end of that tunnel. There's still things that we're learning, ways that we're growing. So really beautiful, pile 3. So let's get another card. Spirit, what was pile 3's role or purpose in their family growing up, please? What was their role or purpose? So you have the 5th house energy here with joy and play. Beautiful. So yeah, I feel like another part of your purpose was to show your family that, you know, it's important to play and to have fun and to experience joy. You know, it's not all about reaching our goals and working hard. It's also about having fun, you know, doing the things that we want to do, whether that's, you know, going outside and, you know, running a mile, or whether that's, you know, maybe creating a piece of art, or, you know, listening to music, or whatever it is. It's important to play and to experience joy within our lives. And so, you know, there was this energy about you where you were a very hard worker and you were someone very committed, but you were also someone who had that balance of work and play, you know, of enjoying your time off when you had it, and of showing the, you know, importance of that childlike nature here, of just having fun and enjoying yourself. And I really feel like you brought this light to your family here, this light energy where, you know, you may have been someone who was like, said to your family, hey, you know, let's go do this, you know, let's go here and play tennis, or let's go on this cruise and, you know, have a day on the water, you know, whatever it was. I feel like you were the person who sort of organized the play within your family, or encouraged it, you know. And I think your family really appreciated that side of you here. So beautiful. So let's get another card. Spirit, what was pile 3's role or purpose in their family growing up, please? What was their role or purpose, please? Okay, so you have number 6 here with the beaver spirit. And it says, lay a solid foundation. Beautiful. So yeah, I feel like you were also this very stable person here within your family unit, pile 3. The person who was always solid, always stable. And, I feel like this is mostly mental strength here, and emotional strength. No matter what happened, you were still okay, and it goes along with this keep going energy here. You were strong enough to maintain your balance no matter what was going on around you, mentally, emotionally. And you were this solid foundation here. And I think you showed your family how to create that solid foundation and how to weather the storm, and be this solid, stable person here. So really interesting, pile 3. So I want to get one last oracle here. Spirit, what was pile 3's role in their family growing up, please? What was their role or purpose, please? Okay, so you have number 5 with burden of creativity here. Beautiful. So yeah, I feel like, for a lot of you, you were this spark of creativity here within your family. And part of your purpose was expressing that creativity and showing your family unit how important it is to be creative and to follow our dreams and to just play, to do the things that we came here to do. So maybe some of you were artists or creators of some sort here as a child. And part of your purpose was to show your family that you came here to express those creative gifts. And it's important to do that, and to be true to yourself and to, manifest what you came here to manifest, to create. So really beautiful. And we have this woman, she's holding this egg here. So I feel like a lot of you may have even created something here. Maybe you painted a beautiful painting, or maybe you wrote a book, or, I feel like you just created something here as a child. And I feel like it was something very beautiful. But I feel like for some of you, this creation or this energy that you had could have been sort of a burden here, because maybe that energy or project wasn't accepted by your family or wasn't encouraged. So, it reminds me of like, the artist the child who's like really talented in, maybe music or art, and their parent tells them, that's great, but that's not going to make you any money. That being an artist isn't going to, get you where you need to be. It's not going to provide for you. It's not going to give you money. So I feel like for some of you, this creativity was a burden in some way, because maybe it wasn't accepted or it wasn't valued here by your family. And so I feel like for some of you, that was sort of a burden. But I do feel like part of your purpose here was to show the importance of that creativity and to show your family that, no matter what, you were going to pursue what you wanted and what was important to you. So really beautiful, pile 3. So let's get some tarot now to clarify this energy here. So Spirit, what was pile 3's role or purpose? Okay, you have the 7 of Cups energy here. And that makes a lot of sense because the 7 of Cups is about creativity. It's about imagination and following our dreams. So I feel like some of you had some big dreams here as a child and you did follow them, and part of your purpose was to show your family that you're strong enough to do that. You're the type of person who, if you have a dream, if you have a goal, you're going to go after it no matter what, and I feel like a lot of you may have had this dreamy, sort of like daydreamer energy as a child, and it was really beautiful. And it was really special. And you weren't afraid to express that, to show that. So beautiful. So Spirit, what was pile 3? Okay, you have the King of Cups here. And that's a beautiful energy because the King of Cups is someone who is very solid, very balanced emotionally, spiritually, mentally. And we said that before with this solid foundation here. You were this queen, this King of Cups energy here, someone who was very loving, very affectionate, but very solid and stable. You know, you didn't have emotional outbursts, or you didn't have wild mood swings. You know, you were this solid, stable energy here for your family unit. And I think, you know, you brought this sense of stability to your family, and you showed them how to be stable, how to be solid in their emotions, in their um, reactions, even, you know. So, but you were also this, you know, source of love here, this loving person who gave your love and your energy very freely, very openly. And I think you were an example to your family in that way, because you were just very loving and very caring, pile 3. So beautiful. So Spirit, what was pile 3's? Okay, you also have the Hermit energy here. Wow, powerful. Because the Hermit is literally the teacher, the guide for others. So I feel like you were this teacher, this guide to your family, you know, showing them how to persist in the hard times, showing them how to follow your dreams, to be creative, and showing them how to be this solid foundation. And I think that's because you were so insightful, pile 3, so in touch with your higher self here, and so spiritual, that you didn't need the outside world to validate your emotions, to validate your feelings. You knew what you felt, and you knew that what was right for you. And, you know, you were this light, you were this beacon of light here. You were this guide to your family, showing them that, you know, it's important to go within and to get in touch with our true selves and to be our true selves. So really beautiful. So Spirit, what was pile 3's role within their family? Okay, you have the 7 of Swords here. Interesting, because I feel like for some of you, you know, like I said before, we talked about this, you know, for some of you, your creativity or your beliefs, you know, may not have been fully accepted by your family members. You know, like I said, maybe you wanted to be this artist or this musician or something, and, you know, it wasn't fully accepted by your family. And I feel like some of you sort of felt like that dream or that gift of yours was sort of stolen or taken away from you in some way. You know, maybe your family said, no, you know, we're not going to let you be this artist, or, you know, we're not going to pay for this, these music lessons, because, you know, being a singer or a musician is not going to make you any money. You know, you're not going to be able to survive. So maybe you felt like your dream was stolen here, or, you know, taken away from you in some way. And I feel like part of your purpose was to show your family that, you know, that's not okay, you know, because you came here to do certain things and to manifest certain goals. And, you know, so I feel like, you know, that might resonate for some people here. So very interesting, pile 3. So I just want to get one final message or guidance here for pile 3. So Spirit, can we get a final message or guidance for pile 3, please? Okay, so you have patience here, and it says the tide will come in when it's ready. Yes, this is your energy here. I feel like you were this patient person here as a child growing up, pile 3. And you understood that, you know, things will happen in divine timing when they're meant to. And it goes along with this keep going here. You know, you had the patience and the persistence to keep going no matter what. Even if things were bad, even if things were falling apart, you still kept going. You were patient, and you understood that, you know, things will get better when they're meant to get better, and things will happen when they're meant to happen. So you showed your family how important it is to be patient and to have the, they always say patience is a virtue. And it truly is, pile 3. And I feel like you showed your family that here. So really beautiful. So I feel like that is all I have for you guys today, pile 3. I hope you enjoyed this reading and I hope it resonated. If it did, please let me know down below. Otherwise, I hope you have a great rest of your day and I'll see you next time. Bye.